Hello and welcome to another week of StarCityGames.com Legacy Premium videos. I'm Drew Levin, and this week we have the recurring nightmare deck that I wrote about last week. So for those of you who don't remember, I've changed it up a little bit, as per usual. We've moved a lot of the sort of hate bearer type cards to the sideboard. As you may or may not remember, the theme of the deck is entombing for Iname death aspect, and then recurring nightmaring it, dumping all of these spirits into our graveyard. We've added a bit of spice. We have Academy Rector, which can tutor up recurring nightmare or Curse of Death's Hold to answer cards like True Name Nemesis, Heritage Druid, 18 Goblin tokens. We don't want Knight of Soul's Betrayal because Bloodghast is a pretty important part of our engine. Bloodghast, incidentally, a spirit, can be tutored for with Iname. It's a nice little tidy package, and then our sideboard is just full of, answers to problem permanents, free Wrath of Gods, some more slightly pricier Wrath of Gods, and ways to stop our opponents from playing Magic. So, over to our match. We're looking at a pretty mana-heavy hand, which is fine. We've got Bloodghast, we've got Entomb and Plow. We've got, a nice balanced range. We can certainly cast our spells, and we can find our Iname pretty easily. Our opponent is playing a black attrition deck, which is going to be really poor for them because we are going to get to put Bloodghast into play on turn 1, which is basically as good as it gets. So if our opponent ticks up again, then we're going to discard probably this Plains and Entomb for another Bloodghast, untap Entomb for another Bloodghast, and just work them from there, because their deck is very poorly set up to handle the card Bloodghast. It's a really big problem for them. So we don't even need to try and execute on our casting 6 drops plan or anything like that. We can just attrition them out with having fetch lands and using fetch lands. And this card is just unkillable. They Innocent Blood it comes back. They Diabolic Edict it, we crack our fetch land, it comes back. Yeah, so what are you supposed to do here? We don't even want to cast our Deathrite Shaman here. It's just, this fetch land is too good. It represents 2 Bloodghasts. 2 0 mana 2/1s. So, we're just going to play it slow. There's no need to rush our cards onto the board. Our opponent's clearly shy on mana. And even if they have him plus Liliana. Okay. This is, yeah, I mean they're definitely casting their spells. I will give them credit for that. But this is the sort of deck that cannot in a million years beat our Bloodghast plan. So we don't even need to cast Cabal Therapy. We can just wait and discard it to a Liliana eventually. There's no real need to try and guess what they have in their hand when we'd much rather protect our Swords to Plowshares. And our opponent has had enough. Innocent Blood, not the card that you want against the card Bloodghast. So how you sideboard against discard decks is something that I haven't seen discussed much except for Reed Duke's excellent article, Thoughtseize You, where he basically explains that in the discard attrition mirror, the card that you actually don't want is a discard spell. You just want to be able to draw your threats off the top of your deck and cast them. So Thoughtseize may seem like a fine card because it takes any of theirs, but they're already proactively trading for all of our cards. The last thing we want to do is draw a dead one. So we're actually just interested in boarding in as many like regular old cards as we want. Abrupt Decay is fine because it kills their sort of cards that they expect to dodge a lot of important stuff. So like Liliana, Curse Scroll don't get hit by Swords to Plowshares. So they're expecting to sidestep that. That's not going to work. I mean, ultimately, we have a lot of like bad cards. Like this is not a great card. We don't really want that. So I'm fine just like boarding in stuff that tries to kill them. You know, we can attack with this 3/1. And so we've got threats, we've got cards that are always going to be live, and if they have nothing that we can Abrupt Decay, then we're winning anyway. They don't really have any 4-drops, and we... Oh yeah, no, we don't have any in our setup, but I think that I would rather have Windborne Muse than Gaddock Teague, just because this thing doesn't get killed by Curse Scroll, and it flies, for whatever that's worth. So, I mean, this is all sort of window dressing on us just trying to play a Bloodghast deck. So, that's sort of the plan. If we can recur an Iname, then that'd be awesome. Our opponent has played Relic of Progenitus, and we have the excellent Abrupt Decay. So, if our opponent taps 2 mana, or just, you know, Ritual Lilianas or whatever, if they end the turn with no mana, then we just main phase Abrupt Decay for sure, since denying them a card is a pretty big deal when all of their cards are like Him You, Thoughtseize You, Innocent Blood You. You know? I would not be surprised, for instance, to see an Innocent Blood here, but I'm somewhat expecting a Hymn to Turok. Smallpox. Cool, cool. I guess we don't really need the 3rd fetch land. That's fine. So, our opponent's going to get 2 swamps out of their deck. We are going to get Abrupt Decay mana. And if they tap their lands, then... Yep. Okay, so we're not Abrupt Decaying here because we don't want to trade our Abrupt Decay as a 1 for 0. So we're fine just running out our Recurring Nightmare and passing back. And unless they've got another color, black is really quite bad at destroying enchantments. So, we'll just get rid of our Veteran Explorer and hope that that induces him to tap out. It doesn't, which is interesting. I'm fine just playing another one of these, just getting our stuff on board. And if at the end of the day what happens is we trade our Abrupt Decay for their Relic, then so be it. So they have Knight of Soul's Betrayal. So our Bloodghasts aren't going to be that good this game. So that's fine. I mean, we're approaching Kaiga mana right on time. So, Abrupt Decay cannot kill Mishra's Factory, but their Mishra's Factory attacks for 1 instead of 2 because Knight of Soul's Betrayal. So we've got approximately a million years to draw what we're looking for. We may not even need it because we can Abrupt Decay Relic on end step, and then Iname for Yosei. And hopefully we draw our... Wait, they just let it die? Seems like an odd choice. I mean, I'm no expert, but that does feel a little weird. And so the reason we're playing out all of our recurring nightmares is because they're free to activate. So we're basically just fronting our Yosei recursion mana. So like if we Iname for Yosei, we can immediately bring it back, and then okay. So I'm actually pretty interested in discarding Kaiga. It's not the card that we want to cast. We want to cast Iname. And it's actually, I don't know if it's more or less than just like rando 5/5 for 6. Whereas Yosei is, okay, they're surgicaling. That's okay. Yeah. They've surgicaled Kaiga. If they don't cast anything else, then we can just decay Liliana. Yeah, this seems like our best moment to cast Abrupt Decay targeting Liliana. And hope that we draw our 6th land, black, and get to go nuts with Iname Yosei. We don't, which is unfortunate. But on the upside, we can entomb for Academy Rector. I guess Rector doesn't do anything. So, while I was sort of reading the forum comments, thinking about like how to update this deck, I was like, man, Collective Blessing seems like a really sweet idea. And so I almost put Collective Blessing in the deck, and now someone has Night of Souls Betrayal, and it would be awesome to have Collective Blessing and just like absolutely trump them. So we're gonna bin this Yosei. There's no real way to play around surgical. So we're not even going to try. So get another Yosei, get all of our Bloodghasts. Yeah, might as well just like get everything. Choose 992 cards. Cool, so you can only choose 10,000, you can only choose 1,000 spirits. That's a good number. I'll target Yosei the Morning Star. And I'll target... Oh man, no, where'd you go? Oh man. Rats. Anyway, we are going to trigger Yosei twice and end up with a Yosei in play. And then trigger Yosei twice more every turn and lock them out of 2 more untap steps, so they weren't going to play Magic for the rest of the game, is basically how that one was going to go. But our opponent didn't let us do that, even though they had Relic of Progenitus and Night of Souls Betrayal. So, I will sorrowfully be right back.